Welcome to the Scene Snobs podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Scene Snobs podcast. I am your host, Mick Manhattan, and I am going to be joined by my co-host, producer Paul, in just a moment, and a couple of guests that I cannot wait to introduce because they are awesome people. And we are going to be doing our fourth mixtape episode. It's going to be a two-parter. It's going to be a great time. I am so excited to do it. If you don't know our mixtape episodes, what we do is we just have like a really good time doing picking out music that have different themes. This one's going to be love this week for side A. Next week will be heartbreak for side B. So join in, go into the comments, talk to us there, stuff like that, and let's get into it. It's going to be a great time. But before we get started, I do want to talk to you guys a little bit. We are just so you guys know, we've been having sort of a crazy beginning of the year. And I appreciate you guys really sticking through. I need to talk about me for a few minutes. I've been getting a few messages from you guys. You guys may have noticed I've been looking physically a little more downtrodden. May have been, my voice may have been off a little bit, and a few other things that you guys may have been noticing. I have been dealing with some physical issues, and I'm working on them, and as of right now, I don't want to divulge that. Like, I'm still working on these things, and I will in due time. So I appreciate you guys, respecting my privacy at this time for that. But I also want to tell you, I am dealing a lot with some mental health issues as well, kind of as a result. It's been kind of a tough year for me. I've lost some family members. I have lost, I've been going through quite an ordeal in different areas in my life. And a lot of things that have been coming up from my past, I've been dealing with traumas from my past, things like that. So I say all of this to you just to let you guys know, this time I've been working on myself. I have been working with an outpatient program. And it's getting started this week, actually. And, I'm very excited to do it. And the reason I bring this up is because I've been very open with you guys about my journeys in mental health over the years. And the reason I do that is because I want you guys to know that, I feel like it's important. It should be normalized. If you guys are suffering or anything's going on, as you guys know in the descriptions, I always have resources for you guys to reach out if you need it. And it's time to get my mind right. I see like people in my life getting their mind right and going back out there and really trying to just really charging forward and doing great things with their mental health, and I want to do that. I want to feel that. So I'm going to be doing that. That's why I'm doing this program. I'm going to work on myself and heal myself. And I just wanted to throw that out there to anybody who's listening. And I will be sharing my journey along the way on the podcast. So thank you guys for your support. And if you guys have any questions, I will let you know as much as I am willing to let you know at the time. I got to put some boundaries up too as well during my journey. But I will try, and I will of course try and share as much, like I said. But I will put resources down as I see them coming about. But there will always be things, and I'm always willing to listen if you guys are going through stuff. So I just wanted to say that as before we start the show, to be completely transparent. I always try to be. Thank you guys so much. But we're going to get started on this mixtape. And I know I threw my guests and my co-host for a loop with that one. But let me bring my co-host in here. What's up, producer Paul? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Mick. How are you?
I'm doing really good, man. I am very excited because we have two great guests tonight. Two people.
Yes, we do.
I love very much. Trevor Stottlemyre from Ambassador Media and Radio. Let me talk about this guy for a sec before we bring him on. I met him in 2020. He started doing a show I had called The Showcase. It was like a talk show sort of bit where he would come on and we would just talk movies, and like it was just such wonderful in-depth conversation about movies that I just always treasured those conversations. And yeah, so to have him back on and to talk music with him, he loves music. So, and he's like a wealth of knowledge of music. I'm so excited. And this next guest, his name's Derek. He also goes by Unlisted Artist. He's an amazing talent. He's a hip hop artist. He can sing his ass off too. And he has been one of best friends, an understatement. Brother is more accurate, really. For what's it been, like 25 years, dude. He is one of my favorite people on the planet. I've talked about him. I've told stories often. I'm so glad he could be here for the next 2 weeks to do this, and hopefully more times, because I love him. You're going to get a lot of laughs with us tonight. Derek, Unlisted Artist from Unlisted Productions. Welcome, Trevor. Welcome, Derek. Thank you guys so much for being on the show.
Hello.
Guys, I'm so excited, man. I really am. Oh, man. It's so good to see your faces.
You too.
I'm so scared to do my list.
You should be, because these guys know their stuff.
There's going to be judgment. There will be judgment. I'm sorry, you guys.
Can deal with that. First of all, I just want to say, Mick, you are really inspiring guy, man. You really are. Seeing you, bear yourself like that was inspiring. I have people in my family, that, they have a lot going on too. And, it's just good to hear people talk about it. You have a platform and you're using it, and that's so important. So
Thank
important.
you.
I was over here getting emotional because I'm proud of you, man. I look at you as a brother also. So
I got to concur with Derek as a person who, and you know me, Mick, and we've known each other for a long time, who's dealt a lot with those demons all my life. You have no idea how proud it makes me and how much good you're doing by being open about that dark passenger that is mental health. Because the more we allow people to talk, the more they will understand, the more they will feel like somebody cares about them. And also, there's still an amazing amount of stigma in various areas of the United States about just the term mental illness. And the only way we can stop that is through group, individual education, branching, going back to where you're from, who you know, and just being there for everybody and let them know there's no embarrassment at all in mental illness, and it's not who you are. So thank you.
Well said.
Wow, thank you guys so much. Paul, you can say nice things now too.
I mean, shit. I think
he had to be last, right?
It's just
I've taken the liberty to write something out for you.
Yeah.
Oh, exalted one.
Dear Mick, I'm glad that fuck you, Mick. You're about to be my 13th reason now. God.
You get the blank thank you card from Dollar General.
Listen, I've had such a tough time putting together this list of music, and I put the work in. I don't think I put any work in this hard on this show like this.
Yeah,
this do work.
It sounded easy enough at first, and then when you start thinking about it, it's like, whoa, wait, this is, yeah.
Well, my problem was, like, if it was just Paul, and no offense, Paul, but like I feel like you and I are on the same wavelength with a lot of stuff. Like, we have a lot of similarities. Like I feel like we're more movie guys than music guys.
Yes,
you do probably more music than me. But because of our talks, like, it seems like we're more movie guys than music guys.
Yes. Yeah.
So whereas I've talked to both of you gentlemen at length, and you guys not only are movie guys, but like you would talk music and I would just be like, yeah. That's enough.
It's absolutely a constant in my life that I just, has always been there for me, no matter what is going on. And that's how I look at music always. So yeah, you're right about that.
I speak a weird dialect of geek, and unfortunately, people have to deal with it. So I feel sorry for sometimes about it.
I'm such a mainstream guy. Like I'm looking at this list and I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna cut out, and I'm like, but I got to cut out the most mainstream stuff, and I still don't know what that is. I'm still trying to figure that out.
I don't think the way I looked at it, mainstream is mainstream for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
You know, it's because people identify with it. It stays with you. You know, it's like eggs for breakfast. You know, it's something that everybody has. It's a go-to. So I had to put things in my mind like roadblocks to stop myself from doing certain things because there's so many that you can think of. You know, so you have to make what's a mixtape. You know, like it's got to be something that brings you on a ride. That's the way I look at it. So, you know, I think mainstream is not a disqualifier. You know,
It really does. Yeah, I love how you put that. It's got to be like a roller coaster, really. It's good and the bad. All right, so I'm going last. So, I'm gonna throw this out there because I want it random as hell. I'm not picking. I usually always pick who goes first. Paul, you go first.
I'll go first. Let me embarrass myself. All right.
I want to hear so how I want to do this. I want it to be more conversational. Like we said, it is the ride, right? So take us on the ride of your music. Why did you pick this? Like, where is this going? Where do these come from?
Okay, so I was thinking of songs that make me think of good times. So I'll go through the memories as I go through them. But a lot of it, like you said, it's a mixtape. So I was trying to think 2010, 18-year-old Paul. If I was making a mixtape for another 18-year-old girl, let her know how I feel. This would honestly be the mixtape, or honestly the CD I would have given her at the time.
God, you're so young.
So I know.
before you break out that Sharpie and write her name on it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, with the awkward heart and do a different color Sharpie just for that. Yeah.
It can't look like you couldn't have spent too much time on the heart. You know, you already spent too much time on the mixtape. So now you have to just as quickly as a doodle as you can to make
I'd have to get the CDRR that you can play in all the fucking cars. We all know.
Derek knows 2005, my mixtape was mostly country.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I can't wait for your list, Mick. I don't have any country. Anyway, so I'm going to rip this Band-Aid because there's no order for this. So bear with me. You're going to crucify me. First one is going to be Love Story by Taylor Swift.
Right.
I love it. To me, it's a good song. And in all honesty, if I'm trying to get a mixtape to a girl, all girls like Taylor Swift. So to kind of ease her into it, I figured that was a safe bet. And I do enjoy it, so I can bear listening to it.
Don't pretend you don't love it. I love it.
I love that song. I love that album.
Two music, like, to me, geniuses down here just both go, all right, yeah.
She's probably the best songwriter in massive pop music since the Beatles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh my God. So let me ask you a question because this is a fight from another show and he's not on it right now. So I'd be right. Would you say that Taylor Swift, if not at this moment, at least at some point, will be as big as like an Elvis or Michael Jackson?
Oh yes, definitely.
I think so.
All right.
I think so.
I love you, Dan, but if you're listening to this,
I think she's spanned across so many genres with her music, and you know, everything. You have to look at everything when you're talking about somebody like Elvis. So you stage show, visual appeal. Obviously, she's gorgeous. You know, I mean, everything together. Yes, I would say yes.
Well, she's a good
and the music too. The music too. That goes first. But you know, I'm just.
Oh no, I agree. Yeah.
You know, I'm just adding on to why I feel like she could be, because I thought about this before myself.
Well, she's a good songwriter, and also she's smart as hell.
Mm-hmm.
She has a business sense and also creativity. This ability to like basically what she's doing is she's re-recording her things slightly different, so she gets out all those old contracts and she literally controls everything. I mean, she is like the, I don't know, like the biggest pop star, but has the business sense of Ani DeFranco. So you got to give her major cred. I'm not saying she's as good a songwriter as Lennon, McCartney, or even freaking Ringo, but I do think that she will hold an area like that in the future for that generation.
I would, you know what the funny, I would probably get slapped for this. I would argue that she is maybe more talented than Lennon. I know. I'm sorry, Trevor, but but I mean, Harrison, I would also argue is the most talented out of all.
His songs are consistent and very well written, and in certain ways, the most experimental within staying as close to the song structure as possible. So I won't argue that.
Yeah,
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I think just a good head on her shoulder. So we'll keep her going up that route. So
yeah, oh yeah.
Screw you, Dan. No, I love you, Dan. I'm just kidding. But all right, so you chose Love Story with Taylor Swift. So you come out strong.
Yes, sir.
I love it. Where do you follow it? Please proceed, my friend.
So I follow it up with kind of a nice little melody with I love Snow Patrol, so I went with Chasing Cars. That's all it makes. That album, I can't tell you how many nights I spent listening to that whole album, just writing my little heart away. It just takes me somewhere calm and different, and it's just beautiful music. I love that whole album by Snow Patrol.
I'm just listening. I want to hear the rest.
Yeah. I'm tempted to where the ride goes too. I like it.
So from here, we go back upbeat a little bit. So we go with You and Me by Lifehouse, because Lifehouse, I feel like, was kicking during my teen years. I'm getting judged by Mick. I see it. I love Lifehouse.
I'm just listening.
Next one is Maps by the AAS.
I don't know.
Mick doesn't know that one. You probably would. I'm sure you've heard it. Might not have known.
I'll listen.
There you go. And then it's kind of on the edge of being a heartbreak song, but to me, it's very uplifting and reminds me of my grandmother. So I went with Somewhere Only We Know by Keane.
Oh, good song.
Yeah, that's a beautiful song.
Keane is a very underrated band.
All right. Are you fucking kidding me?
Is it on yours? It's on yours. Is it not
every single song except for that Map song is on my list, and that in that row, in that order.
Wow. That's interesting.
Okay.
In that, I don't. Are you kidding me?
No,
I'm not kidding. I'm looking at you, and I'm like, how are you doing this? Is this witchcraft? I'm not. I'm kind of annoyed by it a little bit. You know what?
That's awesome.
Here's the thing. Here's the fucked up part, Chris Angel. So Somewhere Only We Know by Keane is on here, and I chose it because I first heard that song when my grandmother died.
Damn.
And I made her collage video. I do it for all my family when they die. And I put it to that song.
Wow.
So you're a fucking witch.
Me?
Yeah, but I love you. It's not, not one I'm willing to hate or burn at the stake.
I was gonna say no burning at the stake for him.
You don't need your soul, Mick. It's fine. God. Okay. So next one. Sorry. I go upbeat again. So I go with Better Together with Jack Johnson, because I loved Jack Johnson when he first came out.
That was
when he was still.
I did not put that on.
I can't tell you how many times I had to listen to Jack Johnson every fucking beach trip and everything. So I ended up liking him, even though I didn't like him at first, just because I had to listen to him so fucking much. Then we go back to the slow beats, and so we go back to Sweet Disposition at the Temper Traps.
Okay.
I can't hear it in my head.
I can't sing.
I can't imagine it right now, though. I know the title. I can't.
That song makes me. It was the last summer with me and all the boys, and I remember we went out and got completely obliterated, and we knew it was our last time before they went to college, and we just drove and had that song on repeat from 1 a.m. to probably 5.
you're making milestones in your life.
Yeah, right.
That's really cool. That's cool.
So anytime I hear that song, I just think of, all 5 of us loaded in my Toyota Camry with a broken door, just listen to that song. Let's see, then, it's going to be Best I Ever Had by Drake. I can sing that song from start to finish.
It's a good song. It's
a great song.
I get it because you're getting closer to where you were getting older too.
Yep.
And that's where I was old.
And I had to check the date because I didn't know exactly when it came out, but I want Iris by the Go-Go Dolls.
Oh, good one. Good one.
Great one. I mean, everyone knows that. Even if they don't listen to that genre of music, everyone knows the song.
It was you couldn't escape it.
Yep. Now we're going a little dark.
Song. You just couldn't escape it for a while.
Yeah.
True.
Yep.
From a wonderful Nick Cage movie, Sturdy, if you're listening.
We're going a little dark because I'm kind of a sexual deviant. Just putting that out there. So we went straight from this lovey-dovey shit to Tear You Apart by She Wants Revenge.
Oh,
wow.
Wow.
Welcome to Paul. Poor Sam, but welcome to Paul.
Oh my God.
So once that last song is on, the lights go out and
yeah. I've already eased my way in there, like, he's fun, he's sweet, he's in his feelings, and it's like, he's got to be. Anyway, then we went with the song "All Mine" by Portishead.
That almost was on my list. That actually was the last cut for my list.
Yeah,
that's awesome. A good choice.
Great. Portishead are them and Massive Attack defined an entire genre.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect stuff.
And I think they're overlooked too much. Way too much. Too many people don't know. They're like, "What's Portishead?" I'm like, "Can I play it for you?" And then they're like, "Why have I never heard this?" I'm like, I don't know. I really don't. Yeah.
It was a lot of great artists at the same time that were out, and it just some people just got slipped through the cracks. And if you didn't know, you didn't know, and that was a lot. It's unfortunate. A lot of artists got they were great, but they just couldn't squeeze in because the radio was already dominated by so many great artists at the time.
If you didn't escape college radio, and maybe you might end up 120 minutes on MTV when they have music, still those artists are pretty much in a cult following.
Right.
Yeah. And I will say, I feel like Portishead is a little too complex just for the average listener. In a sense, it's easy listening for anyone, just background music. But them with the orchestra, I love them live at the Rockefeller Center. Like it's amazing, and you guys know. The next one, so I don't know if you guys know these artists, but they mean a lot to me. So I went with A Day to Remember's If It Means a Lot to You. Day to Remember is more of a pop punk band.
Sounds like this title sounds familiar, but I can't place the song.
It was literally like the anthem of the high school years. Like, I can't tell you, every party, even dances we went to, typically would end kind of with that song and everyone just singing along.
Well, if you would, I would
acoustic
really like you guys to send me your lists because I'm going to put them together on like a nice graphic to put on the social media. But also, I want to listen to everybody's songs.
I'm sorry. And number 13 is going to be Walls by Emery.
Oh, I know that song.
Oh, okay.
Cool. I like that.
Right.
That's a solid.
Emery.
It's a very solid.
There it is.
I like that. I think I'm going to go next because I have a lot of songs that are on your list. And mine is a basic bitch list. Like, you have a lot of depth to yours. I do not. I go, like, where you go deep, I go up.
Yeah.
I'm like, I go more towards the surface, like, oh, dude, yeah, let's go live in the San Fernando Valley and sell our bodies. That's basically the sellout that I go to. My mixtape is so basic. It's like played at a middle school dance in 1993.
My list is kind of basic like that too, but I went left field because I was thinking about you and I wanted to be the answer to you.
I have a song dedicated to you on this.
I'm sorry.
I have a song dedicated to you on this list, and I want to see if you can notice. I want to see if you can notice it. Which one it is?
Okay.
and I think you're going to notice the wrong one. And I'm going to tell stories throughout. But all right, so starting us off, I want to go "Love Hard," and that is "Truly, Madly, Deeply" by Savage Garden. That is a song that I don't know why, but and it only I think it came out in the 90s, but I think I caught on to it in the 2000s, very early 2000s. And it was one of those things where it was just kind of I don't know, I really liked it. I guess the girl I was kind of seeing at the time, it was just one of those things that resonated with us. I don't even know who. She was lovely. I do not remember her name. I don't remember my own breakfast this morning, so it's not a tribute to her. It's a tribute to my early onset Alzheimer's. Going next is "Iris" by the Goo Goo Dolls. If there are two songs that remind me of high school, it's "I Don't Want to Miss a Thing" by Aerosmith, which is not on the list, but was on the grander scheme list because it reminded me of a crush I had.
Talk about a song that was so much better than a movie.
Oh, right. And put a band on a map that stuck around only because of a song.
Yeah.
I don't, and it still sticks. It still plays, and I still like it. I'll still listen to it. It's a good love song. It really is just a solid piece. One-hit wonder that I just enjoy. But if I'm gonna go with Goo Goo Dolls and it's gonna kick hard, I want to go ballad next, a real ballad, and I'm going to take it to Bon Jovi, and that's going to be "Always." My Jersey roots.
Bon Jovi,
Go there. So there's Bon Jovi with "Always." He's going to kick it up, and he's going to swear those 5 words off. So, and then where do you go? Can you do a ballad after a ballad? Of course you can, when it's Bryan Adams following it up. Because after you promise those 5 words, these 5 words, I swear to you, everything I do for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's
on my list.
You're going to take it up a notch. Now, this one I threw on here because it's a funny story. So I had a crush on this girl in high school. She did not like me back. Now I had fully 100% admit that was a weird, creepy phase in my life. As you know, when you're like that kid in high school, you have a crush on a girl and you're trying to impress her and it just doesn't work. Well, I bought her a gift, and it was a music box that played that song, and yeah, it didn't work. And so that was awkward. And so now every time I hear this,
I'm dying to hear this one because you have much in common, because mine involved a teddy bear.
I did. I pissed her off one time, and I got her a Gizmo Furby, and I made it say "I'm sorry." I taught it saying "I'm sorry." And you know what? I will say to her, if she ever listens or watches this, I'm sorry that I acted like a typical idiot male. And I have learned my lesson, and I have 2 sons that I am teaching to be better human beings. So I apologize for that fact. But that is why I put it on here, because it reminds me of how much of an asshat I was as a child. I can't wait to hear your story too, Trevor. Here's another funny story that I'm going to follow it up with, but I think it works too. It's "Kiss from a Rose" from Seal.
Oh,
Because that summer that Batman Forever came out, I relentlessly masturbated to Chase Meridian.
I was going to say that it was another song that's better than a movie, but apparently there's some additional interest there. So,
oh man, Nicole Kidman, fell in love with her. That was my falling in love with her phase. Well, actually, it was falling in love with Dr. Chase Meridian, the character.
Who wasn't already in love with her though, or getting there? I mean,
I think that was my first introduction to her, because I knew she was in movies before, but I didn't really think about her until that movie.
Okay.
So, Dr. Chase Meridian. Kiss from a Rose. Listen, it's we're absurdly entertaining here.
A fist
Now,
from a rose.
this is what I call the Paul years. Next up, Love Story from Taylor Swift.
Okay.
It's a great song. Honestly, I think it's one of the greatest pop songs of all time. And it still holds up to today. Reminds me of my wife. She's a big Taylor Swift fan. We are in the house, and I think I became a big Taylor Swift fan because of her, because I understand geek and I respect geek. Everyone's geek.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to the concert with her,
Mm-hmm.
goddamn, that is a geek culture.
Mm-hmm.
So I respect it. And
Yeah,
so that's why it makes my list, man.
Yeah.
It's a great song. Follow that up by Chasing Cars, Snow Patrol.
Wow.
Reminds me of a girl from college, and that's all I'll say about that. Which then reminds me of another girl. She was like, I loved this woman like crazy. You and Me by Lifehouse. And this was like a song that always reminded me because it played on our first date. And we became friends though, so like there's no hard feelings, and Derek probably knows her. I don't out names or anything like that. So.
Right.
So I just say that. So now we're gonna get into the more like the story time where it's not like girls and mixed stupidity. So next up is Drops of Jupiter, Train. I love this song. This was mine and my best friend Len's song. And it was mostly because every time it played, he would go, "This is our song." And I'd be like, "Why?" He's like, "Because of that one line. I got your back even when I know you're wrong." And he would always follow it up with, "Because I know you're always wrong." So it always sort of like just stuck. Don't worry, you're coming up. And it's not this next one. So Killing Me Softly by the Fugees reminds me of my brothers.
Yeah.
Right. Now my brothers were my introduction to hip hop. And now this wasn't my introduction to hip hop. But this was the first song on my first ever hip hop mixtape that they made me, because they've collected.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to get it. And I didn't collect. I wasn't allowed to collect or go out anything. Like I didn't have the money. I was a little kid. So they would make me mixtapes that I could listen to. And this was the first song on my first ever one. So
that's a big hook.
I thought it was a big one.
Miss
Right?
Lauryn Hill's a big hook,
It's a good one.
Oh yeah.
It's quite the sample. You gotta live up to that sample.
Exactly.
Dude followed it up. Dude, oh my god. It's such a great. Actually, I'm gonna put that together. I'm gonna try and remember all of it, because he followed it up with Wu-Tang. Let me put it together, and then because I'm gonna miss this one. Fix You is the next one by Coldplay. Reason being, I was homeless in Florida for a little while back in 2007, and yeah, and well, I didn't tell many people. I was going to school at the time, and like I lived out of my car for a little bit, so and there was a point where I was like, I got to get my shit together. I got to fix myself, and like this song was playing, and I was just like in a bathroom, and I was in a public bathroom, in a mirror. I was looking at myself. I was like, and I wasn't on drugs or anything, but I was like, my life is kind of like going all over the place. I was like, I got to get my shit together. So I attribute that song to that. And that's like a love letter to myself. I got to fix myself. So whenever I hear that song, that's kind of like, that was a point where I kind of had a push where I got to get my shit together. I got to fix myself. 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton.
Oh boy.
I think I know what song. I think you know what song reminds me of you, D.
Yeah. How many times do we talk about? I mean, we've heard that song together. How many times? 50 billion at least. We've heard that song more than she has. Wow. I can't believe you would put that on anything. Not that it's a bad song, but it was just so just oh wow. Okay. But yes, it does bring back memories.
So Derek and I worked at a movie theater
20 years, 23, 24 years, 23 years.
Something like that.
Something like that.
And it was like the biggest at the time. I think it was like the biggest movie theater on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And in the lobby, and Trevor, you would appreciate because it was an old Lowe's. They tried to make it look like old Lowe's, and it was a Lowe's theater at the time. And but they like tried to make it like the old Grand theaters.
It's beautiful,
and it was
absolutely beautiful.
What was it, like 20 or 25 theaters?
20. Was it 20? It was an even number. It was either 24 or 26.
Yeah,
24. 24.
And and like that was the most fun I think I had at a job for a long time. Like you and I were like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That they had this huge like screen, like it was like a WWE type screen, like through the entrance, and there was an arcade and everything. It was a huge lobby, and there's always like these like different commercials playing, but that song played like every 15 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
And when you're there for 10 to 12 hours a day,
I was gonna say, when you work in a movie theater, you're there for like 10, 12, sometimes 15 hours, not 8 and go home. So I mean, it was brutal hearing that, and it was loud. It wasn't like you had to be by the screen to hear it. Even when the place was packed, you could still hear it everywhere in the huge lobby. Dude, oh my gosh, yeah.
Dude. Oh my God. And so like it was constant, drove everyone nuts, but I sang it all the time. I just like owned it. I was like, it didn't drive me crazy. And now even when I hear it, I don't know how. Look at him. He's mad. I put it on my list. And I don't blame him. But I heard it on, what is it, White Chicks when they did it?
Yeah.
Every time I hear it, I'm like, and I think of Derek. Like, it's such an endearing song to me.
Oh my gosh.
But it had to go on my list because it's a love song, brother. I love it. Last two songs to finish it out. One by U2. Just a personal favorite. I really love it.
That is a beautiful, beautiful song.
Honestly,
I think the best latter Bono writing. There was nothing as good after Uptown Baby.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's probably the last for me too.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to finish this out, I'm going to finish it out with "Hold My Hand" by Hootie and the Blowfish.
That's love.
That's love right there.
Love, yeah.
Well, gentlemen, who would like to go next? I know I took up a lot of time, and I apologize for that, but please share.
I'll go. If not, Trevor, if you'd like to go.
It's up to you.
All right, I'll go. Switch it up a little since the last two lists had a lot of similar songs. First, I'd like to explain. And for that, it's a 45-minute display. Let me get it right up here.
PowerPoint demonstration.
Yeah, PowerPoint. Yeah, that's what I meant. You get that together, Okay. Mick says love. I think about instantly the poetry. Okay. When you say 90s, the floodgates open with R&B to me. That's what moves me, especially in the 90s. Of course, besides hip hop. I mean, that was where my life was rooted at that time. But when I think of love, I think of every time that I was not listening to hip hop, the songs that really kind of molded my view of like what romance was, even at a young age, so I have a little bit of a mix, but I'm pretty much in the R&B sphere, okay? Because I think about the slow grooving, and any mixtape I make, it was always called the Super Sex Mix, just so you know. So that's where you get that's where you get the idea of what it is. It's like the actual getting down time. Okay, so I have them here, but it's not no particular order that I would put it in. I'm gonna say that I didn't take the time to actually just write them in an order.
Well, that's bullshit. I'll get it together now.
Okay. I definitely had Bryan Adams on this list. So I'm gonna bring that out. As already said, it's a beautiful voice, beautiful, sentiment. The music video, the stuff from the movie was really well done too, but we're just talking about the music for right now. One of the songs I always think of is the remake of When a Man Loves a Woman by Michael Bolton. That is, one of the songs that you can throw on at any time and get kind of like that reaction, that feeling, that wedding or just a slow kind of grindy, sweaty, nasty party in somebody's basement. That's the kind of things I think about. That it was universally accepted, I also put on here Diamonds and Pearls by Prince. To me, that song is I'm a huge Prince fan. I still get emotional sometimes when I see some of the videos and stuff like that because I just loved his music so much. And even now, I'm still appreciating things because they're still loading videos of performances. If you go to his YouTube channel, they have stuff that they just loaded like 2 weeks ago. Performances of Diamonds and Pearls, Purple Rain, all these performances where were they all this time? But I love it. I love the fact that I can go back every few weeks and see something new. But Diamonds and Pearls to me is because as somebody trying to make it in the industry, I was broke a lot. And so the sentiment of, I could get you diamonds and pearls, but what we really need to have is love. We really need to have that kind of connection. That's what's important. So I love the sentiment of that so much.
Well, can I add something about Diamonds and Pearls?
Yes, please.
It's
always
such an amazing song, but it also shows a shift in Prince in his songwriting, because it's not risque, it's not any of those things. It harks back to like late 1960s orchestra backed Marvin Gaye style R&B. That's very simplistic but very beautiful. Very beautiful. I think that really is kind of a song you can kind of bookmark Prince's career with. It's that important.
Yeah, that is. I agree with you wholeheartedly because, I listen to a lot of his music, and you can, no matter when you listen to it, he's got so many different genres and everything that he kind of tapped into. But that song, the poetry of it, I just think was on a different kind of a level, and it always
the same man that wrote Pussy Control. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah. What was
he had a lot of different emotions going on.
But Darling Nikki, one of the raunchiest songs ever in the history of. Oh wow. Okay. Another one swept the nation at the time. This was very important. This reminds me of my mother because I remember my mother and she passed away in 2013. My mother and her brothers, and it was one song that everybody could just start singing at any time because it was a cappella, which is "If I Ever Fall in Love" by Shy. That is a beautiful song. I'm sorry?
I haven't heard that name in a while. That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Their fan club, I don't know how many members there were because it was really only a few songs they were known for, but their fan club was like a couple of blocks from where I live right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And never saw them there, though. Just like I never saw any fans. But what else do we have? What I liked about that song is that, you know, it's something that you could kind of hum through and sing through, and a girl would think that that was like the sweetest thing, you know. And so that was why I wanted to have that. Staying with R&B, I have Casey and JoJo, All My Life. All My Life. That was the wedding song, the endless wedding song, you know, that you heard at so many, but it's such a beautiful, beautiful message, and it's something that, you know, has romance, but it also has kind of you know, I mean, it's got the romance and the grindingness that I like still. It's just a little bit of it, you know, but it's a very sweet song. It's a little on the sweet side, but I love it. I think it still kind of represents late 90s R&B very well.
It doesn't resonate with me. It was on my list, but I was like, I remember it was like that. I swear, like, you know, a few of them that like just kind of like when I was at that age, like I remember how like I think I went with more songs that were like reminded me of people I cared about rather than
see that's why I did this list the way I did, because I wanted to paint a picture of with the poetry of the writing. Yeah. You know, because I didn't want to have a list that would, because I thought about you and I thought about what you would have or something that you would have, and I wanted to do something. I wanted to say, you know what, I'm gonna go a different angle. I mean, you know, that's kind of what I do. Everything with my music and everything is like, if everybody's going this way, I try to go the opposite direction, just to spite that direction, you know, just to try to have something different. So, but I try to bring up those things that I remember going to parties and stuff that I went to, what people played, the first record, you know, we first get that door closed, the first record that people would put on that everybody would just kind of like, oh, you know, this is great, you know? And so I try to, like, the moment is what I was thinking about, not so much my personal journey, but something that I know that if I play song after song after song, that a woman, if I was going to play it for a woman or give it to a woman, that she would, that I know it's like, okay, I know I have these hits in the bag, you know?
Yeah.
I put also on here, stepping away from that, All for Love, Bryan Adams, Rod Stewart, and Sting. I had almost forgotten that song came out during that time.
No.
But I love that song. It's just a song that just, now that one is a little bit more selfish after everything I just finished saying.
A song better than the movie again.
Yeah. yeah.
I like that song. That's a good song.
Yeah, it is a good song.
Because those are great voices that come together.
Mm-hmm.
It just, I think it got drowned out because the movie didn't do well.
Yeah. It was, yeah.
But I like that choice.
And that year, I wrote down the year too. That was 94. There was a lot of great music out there. And so, you know, like I said before, it was it was a log jam, you know, trying to get on the radio at that time. It had to be something. And then let me see. Oh, this is a song that if it doesn't grab any woman, then I don't know what planet she's living on, but usually it wouldn't be Earth. But I also put down The Power of Love by Celine Dion.
I purposely kept all Celine Dion songs.
Let me tell you something. Despite everything I just finished saying a couple minutes ago, it's not one of my favorite songs, but it seems to be a song that people can come together on. People can be together on that has a beautiful message, and I thought that was important in this one. The Cradle of Love by Billy Idol. I don't care where that fits on the tape. It sounds like a joke entry, but it's really not. I just love that song. It's a great song.
Okay.
But and I also wanted to let me just have one more.
You're good.
This song I feel is one of the songs that's highly underrated, which is You by Jesse Powell, 1999. Okay. He hits the most beautiful notes in that, and he never had like a follow-up hit to that. But it's something that you could write down inside on a CD cover, inside on a CD, the blank, you turn the thing over and you're right. The poetry of that is beautiful. And that to me, is the epitome of what a love song should be in my mind, as far as how it's written. I think that was beautiful. And that's where I'm gonna end it, because I think that's a good note to end off on. Like I said, I stayed with R&B. That's what brings, my 90s experience to a whole is early 90s R&B. I mean, 90s R&B.
I love that, and I appreciate it. That's so far great list by you guys. Appreciate it, and I can't wait to hear Trevor's. I'm very excited for these.
I'm afraid you'll never look at one again.
Oh no! I'm loving it. I love all the different different styles of lists. And it takes what you got for me.
Okay, well, I of course tried to stay within your confines, which I cheated just a little bit because there are some songs that came out at like the very end of 1989, but became popular later. So I want to apologize. I remember making mixtapes like crazy for friends, and if you had a thing for a girl, you made her a mixtape, or if nothing else, you made her a mixtape that you were embarrassed to give her, and you would just listen to it thinking about her.
Or you gave her a music box that played everything I did for you.
Exactly. So I mean, the mixtape it has so many meanings. But the way I looked at this was, okay, I needed to own a physical copy of it, because back in the 1990s, we would have done, CD or album to cassette, depending on the stereo system. I wanted it to have a distinct take on what is love. And I also wanted it to be, stuff that it stood out for me for some reason. There aren't stories connected with it, but it somehow connects all into how I personally look at love. So,
okay.
So I guess we should begin.
Love it.
Okay, so the first song I picked is actually from 1989 album by Lou Reed called New York. It was an album that was literally all about, it was New York stories. Now, Lou Reed was one of the founders of the Velvet Underground, and he wrote songs like Sweet Jane and Satellite of Love, which are like iconic love songs. But also he has a very dark side and a very realist side to him. So I picked Romeo and Juliet, which is a kind of a West Side Story-esque song set in the backdrop of what is New York City trying to catch up from the Reagan years, not to mention the horrible situation that New York was under Rudy Giuliani. So the first song is literally a romance that, isn't anything really, really big. It's very sexual. And then the Romeo and Juliet tragedy switches. And now she must deal with the loss of basically her love. And it didn't have to be. So that's why I put that on. I think it's not just a love song to be a love song. I think it's a love song of the real Manhattan, the real New York City. Yeah, Mick, that was for you. Now, you had a song there, Paul, but my next song is actually by 9 Inch Nails, and that's Closer. And that's not because you are constantly screaming out, I want you like an animal.
Right.
If you look at from 89, Pretty Hate Machine, and then to 92, Wish, and then to Downward Spiral, you can tell that Trent Reznor was into a lot of very specific things. And to me, this is a song about how one can find catharsis and therapy in themselves in a DS relationship or a relationship of that nature, which would go as, dominant or submissive, which that's a whole topic into itself, but it's not a bad thing. This is a form of lifestyle that many people need to get through the day. And that's why I put this on here, because the dominant love for the submissive and vice versa, or your partner in those kink-oriented things that 9 Inch Nails was soaked in, is a very special love that must be grained in extreme trust. So I put that on there for that.
Wow.
That's some deep thought.
That
All
is.
right, I like it.
I love it. That's good.
Next on my list.
Trent Reznor's a genius too.
What's that?
I'm sorry. I was gonna say Trent Reznor's a genius. Yeah.
I mean, it's lyrically, it's unbelievable. So next I went with Nick Cave from an album called Boatman's Call, about 97. Now, Nick Cave, Australian punk rocker, best known originally for the extreme punk band The Birthday Party, and then he formed Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, which did gothically kind of cabaret-ish music, but it was very dark. Before releasing The Boatman's Call, which he released an album called Murder Ballads, and actually I had 2 songs from there I wanted to put on, but I thought, if the love eventually led to the other person killing the person because they're obsessive, it's not a good thing. But Into My Arms is a very sweet song about, wanting to be accepted and loved on another person's terms. So, but it also started an element of his career, which he does to today, as being the leading romantic gothic songwriter in the world. So he's written many, many ominous love songs. So
Nice. I like
next one, Mazzy Star, Fade Into You.
Great song.
Unbelievable song. Somewhat misunderstood, as it's more about unrequited love than most people just like, fade into you. I mean, this was a California shoegaze band that didn't expect the popularity. And, that's the thing, sometimes these love songs are taken a bit out of context. But that's, I think, one of the most important love songs of the 90s, either way. My next pick is Elliott Smith. It's very hard to find a love song in Elliott Smith's catalog. He was a singer-songwriter. He started with a Portland grunge band called Heat Miser, but then eventually was the figurehead that pushed the indie folk movement ahead in the 1990s. Unfortunately, he was mysteriously killed because he put 2 katanas in his chest. But Say Yes is a song about being in a relationship, getting out of a relationship, and then waking up with her the morning after, and all the optimism that comes from, I think it's going to start again. Now, I
don't think it started again. I was going to say, I don't think it started again. After he'll be right back. I'll put him in the back room until he's back. I don't think it's going to start again once he reaches the katana phase. Sorry, I had to. I felt this, but no, that's a wild story. That's crazy that it was like that. But I'm really loving
it. It was probably his girlfriend at the time too who did it.
Yeah. Holy shit. Well, I swear to God, I don't mean this as a pun, but these are some deep cuts you're putting out.
This is how I would make a mixtape.
Oh no, I put the wrong person in.
Oh, like, oh no.
I Derek popped back on. So Derek, I'm sure we'll be right back. But no, please proceed. I'm loving this though. I love this flow that you're doing.
So my number 6 belongs to Bright Eyes. Bright Eyes, great. Almost, you almost kind of want to put them into the acoustic emo realm. It's technically one guy. It's Connor Oberst. He was on Saddle Creek, which is a great indie record label. And most of his work was very depressing and always ended with him being the one without anything. Then when he releases So Tonight That I'm, when he releases I'm Awake in Its Morning in 2005, he releases a song called First Day of My Life. And this is the most optimistic, intense, our life is going to be perfect now that we are together songs of the 90s. And it is. There's no, like, you know, at the end, something bad happens because it's a Bright Eyes song. No, this is just one of the most uplifting, beautiful love songs of all the 90s.
Oh, wow.
It's really good. Now, this is another one I cheated on, but it's very important. And that was Nirvana's About a Girl. This was on their original Sub Pop album called Bleach, which came out late 1989, but did not receive attention till it was played on MTV Unplugged. A couple quick stories about this song. Number one, the lyrics were supposedly written in 5 minutes by Kurt Cobain, and they were about his girlfriend at the time, and things were going quite well, named Tracy Moronder, pardon me. The other part of this, and when you hear this song, and I recommend if you're a Nirvana fan, you haven't, you listen to it, because along with being just a great love song to his girlfriend, he spent the entire night, the night before, just listening to early Beatles. And then when you hear this song and then you hear the music from Nevermind, it makes sense. You know, why was he the popular grunge poet? He was the grunge poet that was pulling influence from the Beatles. So, you know, About a Girl is just a phenomenal love song from the 90s. Highly recommend it.
Oh, yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
My next, I don't even remember what number we're on. It's PJ Harvey and Thom Yorke of Radiohead with The Mess We're In, another album set around New York City. But this song is a special love song because it's about that difficult time in a relationship. It's not about a breakup. It's about a time in which shit gets deep. And you never completely know, but it's basically them both telling their story that they're scared to talk to about with each other. And it's most likely an unexpected pregnancy. But you feel the love these people have toward each other because they want to go in the same direction. They're just scared to say it. So that would be another one.
I love that so much.
I don't know that song by Radiohead. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, it's so good. It's one of Thom Yorke's best.
I can't wait to check that out. I can't wait to see this. Like, please, yeah, guys, send me your lists because I definitely want to make out the graphics, but I want to listen to all these.
Same.
So next one is Glenn Hansard and Marketa Iraglova, known as the Swell Season. They did a song Falling Slowly, which came from this beautiful film called Once, which is truly, if you're ever, guys, if you're ever in a room and, you know, you're with somebody you want to, you know, impress, and they like rom-coms, Once, just do it. You're going to love it. It is such an amazing film. And it is so standable versus everything else. So, but okay, so Glenn is an Irish artist that came from a band that actually was very influenced by U2 called The Frames. Marketa was a Czech artist that kind of went in the same circles as him as an artist. She eventually released several very kind of dark and mysterious folk albums, but Falling Slowly is this beautiful song that just builds with that tension of right before love blossoms, right before both people go, well, we like each other, and that's Falling Slowly.
Facebook user actually says Glenn Hansard was just announced as the opening act for Pearl Jam tour.
Oh yeah, Hansard's great. His solo stuff's also super awesome.
Very cool.
The next one is just kind of a personal love of mine, and it's by a contemporary of Elliott Smith, and that was Pete Krebs, who was a singer-songwriter out of the Portland area along with Smith. They were friends, but his music was much more optimistic. It's called Sweet on a Rose, came out roughly around 1994, and it's almost sugary sweet, but it's like the perfect pop album if produced on no money. So like, you know, it has that amazing indie aesthetic. It has kind of an early Americana feel, but the whole album is a perfect love album. But Sweet on a Rose is a very underrated, beautiful love song in the style of Elliott Smith and the whole neo-folk movement going on.
Love it.
Okay, so this was a hard one for me because it was very hard to pick a song, but it is D'Angelo with the song Brown Sugar, which
Good song.
1995. This it is such an amazing song. It really is. Okay, so at the time he was writing it, he was, I believe, married or at least seeing Jill Scott. Things were really going great. Of course, this went totally afire after she had her child, and D'Angelo did D'Angelo kind of things and disappeared. This was written, from what I understand, for her. And it is just a beautiful song. It's got this amazing organ part that is just so funky and minimal. And D'Angelo's voice is, you know, sometimes, you know, well, he sounds like he's got something in his mouth. Yeah, but it makes it sound so raw. And it's like it's coming from his heart. So I had to put D'Angelo on the list, and probably his biggest song, as far as a love song, was Brown Sugar.
Yeah.
My 12th song is Method Man and Mary J. Blige's All I Need Is You, specifically from the Takao album 1994, because it also was remade for a Mary J. Blige album, and then later Raekwon re-sang it with her. And I have no idea why that happened, but that's horrible. But no, this is, I mean, should be the blueprint for contemporary R&B. I mean, Mary J. Blige and Method Man, I mean, could you come up with two people that are so different yet so alike in their intensity? And you have a song that, yet again, it's kind of a West Side Story vibe here, because he's getting an amazing amount of shit from his friends. He's getting an amazing amount of shit from his family. She's getting the exact same thing, but they have found that they can exist without anything in this world as long as they have each other. And that is the of this song. And I think it's, you know, literally stabs that in more than any other hip hop or R&B song at that decade. So
great choice. Great choice.
And what did I finish out with? Oh, I finished out with Arcade Fire in 2004 with
Wow.
Neighborhood Number One from Funeral, which is actually a 4-part song. But this song is such a wonderful love song because it's about the growing of a relationship and the idea that there will be this long-term connection. There will be the long-term relationship. It follows a relationship about the love of that, and I think that's why it's special and why it stands out. It's because too many love songs are, in certain ways, kind of sound kind of like what somebody would say if they honestly just want to fucking run. Where a song like this is kind of a detailed blueprint of how this relationship worked. So there, as I said, you might not want to have me on again.
No, I think that's fantastic. That's a great list, Trevor. That's a fantastic list. And one thing I really loved about tonight and all the lists that went around, besides Paul and I, who had pretty much identical lists. No, but even that is like my basic bitch list compared to like Paul bringing in pop and like that, like the pop sound of your youth, but also like where you went more in depth. Like where you went more into who you were and like who you were outside of that pop. I dug that, man.
Well, thank you.
And seeing Derek come in and knowing Derek 25 years and
all these lists are amazing.
And knowing like he runs a record label that's exclusively hip hop and R&B. So I knew his go everybody. Everything's listed below. Go check out Ambassador Radio Media. Go check out Unlisted Productions. I support all of this. It's so amazing, and you see why. You see how depth they go. But I know I was telling Sturdy the story the other day when we were in the lab about Derek being on the show and how back in the day music was such a big part of his life and like our mine as well. But we would be sitting there and we talking. I remember we wrote a screenplay one time for an idea we had. And I won't go too in depth, but Tretch, it was an action comedy. And it was an action film, and Tretch we had in our minds to star in it from Naughty by Nature. And I remember I was like, I don't know if he'd work. I was like, he's not an action guy. And then years later, of course, he becomes Blade. So I ate my words on that one. But Tretch, always, we love you. No, but to have him come on tonight and share his list, and then of course Trevor, your list blowing me away, man. Well, all of you guys. So we're going to continue this. This is side A. We're talking about love songs. So if you're listening to this at a later time or you are watching this, thank you guys so much for being a part of it. Make sure to check back next week. We're all going to be back, and we're going to be doing our heartbreak songs. That's right. Same 2 decades, that 20-year period. We're going to be talking our favorite heartbreak songs. Maybe there's something that meant something to us in a story, or there's something that resonates with us, or just what we think is the best. Who knows? We're going to take a tale, take a, kind of go that route with it a little bit and just jump into it. But I want to say thank you to Derek for being here, Unlisted Artist from Unlisted Productions. Thank you to Trevor from Ambassador Radio Media. We're going to say goodbye. We're going to outro the show. We have 2 great movie reviews coming to you. But Trevor, thank you so much for being on tonight. We really appreciate you, and we will see you next week.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for having me along with these amazing individuals. That has been a pleasure doing this with you.
We can't wait to have you back next week. And also Trevor is joining in for the Snobs film history. And he's there every week for our Godzilla Hail to the King, baby, 70-year Godzilla film retrospective. Check it out. But thank you, Trevor, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Well, guys, if you don't know what time it is, it's that time. It's time for Scene Snobs review. So, and we're reviewing 2 wonderful movies today, American Fiction and the Book of Clarence. That's right. And we both watched them, but we're going to start with American Fiction tonight.
There we go.
This movie stars Jeffrey Wright. He is a novelist, and he's also a professor who teaches writing at a college. And he's sort of at a crossroads in his life. His books aren't selling well. he has a distinctive voice, and his keeps getting pushed to, as a black man, he keeps getting pushed to write in more of what's considered a black tone of sorts, or a voice. And he doesn't feel that he has to change his tone or his voice because he is a black man, and that his voice as it is should be representative of enough. And within that, he does drunkenly one night write a book that he has asked to write, and it becomes this overnight sensation. He does it under a pseudonym. He hates the book. He hates himself for it. But in this journey of stardom through it, he learns a lot about himself, his family, and the people he cares about along the way, and who he is as a writer and a black man. Now, from a filmmaking standpoint, I really appreciated this movie. And I just, I love Jeffrey Wright. So I was excited to see this. I saw this last year, and I rewatched it again recently to review it for this. Paul, before I get started anymore, I'd love to hear what you think about it before we start sharing anything.
Okay, so I love Jeffrey Wright as well. So I was excited to watch this because I relatively watched it a couple days ago. I thought it was good. I kind of, without sounding impolite or crossing any lines, I think it just goes with the tone of how a lot of movies are trying to grab right now. So I'm just kind of, I don't know. I don't know how to say.
I think I see what you're saying, and if I can take that one a little bit, because I see where it can become uncomfortable. And yes, there's a lot of tone that pander in movies today,
Right.
and I agree that there is a lot. I don't, and I purposely picked these two movies tonight for the fact that a lot of people are claiming they do, and I highly disagree. I think these two movies, movies that are written and directed by black voices and artists, tell different stories through the lens, and they're trying to do it not just they're doing it for black audiences who understand, but also so we understand, and I think they nail it here. There's a point where I recognize certain things as a white man that were being said that I'm like, I've heard that said. I know that happens. And the comedy elements to both of these movies, and I'll just stick to this one for now, but the comedy elements of this, and also the interactions and the heart behind the chemistry of the characters are really what make this movie for me. It's not the overhanging, like the themes of the movie are very good, but they don't slap me in the face. I don't feel like they do. I'm really through it. I really enjoy the interaction between the brothers and the family, and that whole dynamic. Everything else feels very secondary to that. Like the looming factor of he wrote this book and he's like self-loathing over it is all secondary to me in this.
I got you.
So and that's why I almost liked it, is like, because it feels to me when I'm being told through the story is, as a black man, he has to deal with all of these things, this life. He's dealing with family, he's dealing with a relationship, he's dealing with this, that, and the other thing. And then he also has to deal with things just because he's black. Just because of his race. So and that's what I took from it when I watched this, but it didn't feel like it was like, pandering. It didn't feel like it was heavy-handed or slapping me in the face with anything. It just felt like a really good story. So for me, now for you, if you do not feel the same, that's perfectly okay.
Right.
So let's.
It, like I said, in all honesty, I didn't really care for it. I liked the comedy in it. I thought all the acting was great. That's why I think I gave it a 6 out of 10, so a 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
So
You gave
I
it
think
3 out of 5. I gave it a four and a half
yeah.
out of 5. Again, more for I get as a movie. I think this works. I actually like, whereas Moonlight to me is a movie that's like trying to get the Oscar and
Right.
cram everything into it. I
Right.
don't think this is that movie.
No, not at all. I can absolutely agree with that.
So like for me, this is really well told story. It's really well acted story. I like the filmmaking in it. Just it's nothing outrageous, but there's some definitely good styles and writing. Like one thing I really liked is when the two black authors are sitting on one side of the table and then the three white authors on the other side of the table, and they outvote them about
Right.
the black book, and then they're like, I just really think it's important to listen to black voices today. And it's just like but it was like so done so tongue in cheek and such a like, I'm not doing it justice to Scene. I think people should watch it, but I like that type of writing. I like how it's just a well done comedic sense and well timed.
Right.
So that's why it gets a 4.5 for me. I think this is the type of movie that is worthy to be nominated. And they exist every year. They never win. Weirdly enough. But that's why I stick with it. But all right, let's move on to the Book of Clarence, which I have a feeling we're going to significantly differ upon this.
I'm curious what your rating was on this, actually.
Very different from yours. Let's put it that way. I put together the graphics, so I can just say that. I'm a little biased in the sense that the Bullets, James Samuel is one of my favorite filmmakers. I love this director. I love his visual style. I love the storytelling. I love this movie more than I like Ben-Hur.
Wow.
This is a 5 out of 5 movie for me.
Really?
I thought
Okay.
this. All right. So, can I ask you before we give your rating?
Okay.
Religious. Now we've talked about religious epics in the past. I know you watch some.
Yeah.
How into them are you though?
What?
Like, are those ones that you watch repeatedly? Or are you like big on them? Like I just said, Ben-Hur or like King of Kings or The Greatest Story Ever
I
Told.
wouldn't say I watch them all the time. Like I have watched them, and I guess I have a special place for me, like The Robe or things like that. But
Yeah. Well, so for me, I watch those from a filmmaking standpoint. I really not from a religious, but from a filmmaking standpoint.
Right.
There's a few of those like I really enjoy, and I'll watch those every few years.
Right.
This stands on that for me.
Okay.
So I just wanted to give that perspective of like, I love the story. I love the filmmaking. I thought this was a beautiful epic scale.
Right.
And the acting blew me the fuck away. Lakeith Stanfield blew me the fuck away. But he is one of my favorite actors acting today. So I was going to see the movie as soon as I heard he was in it. I'm a mark for him, dude. I'm a stan. Like as soon as I hear Lakeith Stanfield's in something, I'm going to see it.
There you go.
So like tell me a little bit about how you felt about this movie.
So like I had high expectations for it, like super high expectations, because the cast, it's a great cast. Just judging from some of the, because I rarely watch trailers, but I watched this one. So I was like, oh, the visuals are gonna be a lot of fun too. I enjoy a good not even retelling, I don't fictional depiction of something that happened, during a religious time in this instance. I won't say historical so I don't piss off everybody, but I typically enjoy the style of movie. So I was like, oh, this is going to be a lot of fun. And unfortunately for me, like I watched it with a few other people, the jokes just didn't hit like that. Like we all knew what was about to be said and stuff, and we were rarely laughing a majority of that movie.
If I can interject for a second, and for anybody
Mhm.
watching or listening, when you watch this, well, depending on the trailer you watch, because there is one with like a
Mhm.
Prince song that I think really depicts it properly, what
Mhm.
this movie is. But there's another one that makes it seem like it's a comedy.
Right,
This is not a comedy.
which is
And
not.
like even James, James, thank you for joining in. George, you too as well. Thank you. Yeah, it does look like a lot of fun. There's fun elements to it. There's parts where you will chuckle. It's not a comedy. I would even put this up against a Ben-Hur or a Passion of Christ, where maybe Passion of Christ is darker because there's a lot more viciousness to it and
True.
gore, but this doesn't. There's brutality here,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
and this is the story of Jesus,
Mhm.
but told through Clarence.
Right.
And I just want to set that expectation for anybody who gets into it, because like even when my wife and I watched it,
Mhm.
it was she didn't know what to expect, and when we got there, I was like, and I didn't know what to expect either, but I think that's why I loved it so much.
There you go.
But I
Right.
interjected, and I'm sorry. I want to hear the rest of what you had to say.
No, you're good. And like I said, I think it just got ruined. Trailers ruin movies for me. They either show the best parts, or I feel like this movie flopped for me personally because it did the same thing that happened when I saw the trailer for Midsommar. I thought it was, this is what it's gonna be, and it's completely different. And it's like, why? I feel like they should do better on trailers. Um,
I agree.
because I feel like different mindset. Like I feel like maybe if I did revisit the Book of Clarence after seeing it, knowing what it is, maybe I would enjoy it more. But first watch, thinking it's going to be a fun watch or a comedy, very disappointed. um,
Yeah, I don't
the
like
visual
trailers.
effects, the visuals were a lot of fun. I will say that. Um,
Mm.
and I thought it was a solid story. I like the story of the, his brother being Thomas and all that, and how they went back and forth. And his acting is superb. Like you almost, even though I know that he doesn't have a twin, you almost thought that he has a brother that's not like him mentally at all. Um, just in how they carried himself, and so I commend him on that. On the acting was good, but yeah,
But
unfortunately, this one just didn't.
I get it, and I get it. And
Mhm.
before I throw out the ratings, I just want to say, like, one thing I really liked about this is I thought going into this he was going to be a con man, and he kind of wasn't.
Mhm.
Yes, he was saying he was a messiah, but he was teaching what he believed.
Right,
Like, yes, he was doing what he was calling tricks, but essentially
right,
he was just following Jesus's what he truly thought were tricks.
right,
And as he
right,
goes on and he realizes, oh, I'm pulling these tricks, but like Jesus is really doing this,
right.
and I loved it. But I think through it all and him realizing like I'm freeing slaves, I'm doing this good. I'm
Mhm.
actually doing this, but he still feels so guilty because he realizes Jesus is not a fraud, but I am.
Right,
But he's not a fraud. He's
right,
teaching. I love the layers of like he's teaching knowledge over belief, but while he's believing, because as we're
right,
seeing it, Jesus exists. Jesus is a
right,
miracle maker. I even love the fact that we get an explanation for white Jesus,
right.
and I don't want to ruin that for anybody. You get a chance to go and see it because it's really well done, in my opinion. You didn't like that? I like that. Okay, fair.
I mean, no, I thought it was cute, and I'm not trying to give spoilers like you just said, but there were certain parts that I respected. Like you said, seeing that all of a sudden he's believing, like you just said. Um,
Yeah, it
I,
turns and
I won't, yeah.
the whole Judas. I like the take on Barabbas. I like the take on Judas.
Barabbas, yeah.
Pontius Pilate. Like James McAvoy did a great job in Pontius Pilate. So all through that, I had a really good time with this movie. Not in so much a fun way, but in a way where honestly, I just think it was a beautiful story. And I think it was really well acted and really well shot. And it's a 5 out of 5 for me. And it is a 1.5 out of you from you. And you're 5. No, I'm just kidding. But no. I accept your answer. It's your opinion. But it hurts my heart a little bit because I love this movie.
And
But
I'll rewatch it with different eyes just to see if my rating goes up because I respect yours too.
I'm gonna rewatch it too, and I'm gonna rewatch it with your eyes and see what I know I am, because I'm gonna say what you say, like with the laughs and stuff, because I didn't watch it for the laughs.
Right.
So maybe that is something that like kind of just I didn't take into account. Maybe I should. Maybe it just won't land with me. I'll find imperfections. But kind of finishing out tonight, guys. Mick's movie pick, of course, was how we finished the show out. And this is from the year 1969. That's something a little bit different from you guys tonight. It's a short film from 1969, and you can find it right on YouTube. In fact, I might link it below. I'll do that, very soon. But it is Bambi meets Godzilla. We're doing a lot of work with Godzilla lately, and if you haven't, this is a very funny satirical short film that was made in 1969. I know it sort of seems like it gives it away, but watch it anyway. It's well done. Everything is very good about this. That's why that is the movie poster. It's not it. So go check it out. Bambi versus Godzilla. But I want to say thank you to everyone who came on tonight, hung out. Thank you to you, Paul. Thank you for co-hosting with me, being my buddy on this magic carpet ride. And you'll be back again next week. We'll be doing Heartbreak, and Trevor will be back. Derek will be back. I did get a message from him. Fortunately, they had a power outage, and that's what happened. So he will be back, and thank you. And hopefully maybe a couple more will join in. But we are excited. Guys, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit that bell so you know when other great episodes of this come out as well. But next week we're going to be doing Side B, Heartbreak. Right. I am super excited for it. But also keep in mind that at the end of the week we have Horror Conversations Thursday night at 7 p.m. That's with Carolina Fear Fest. We're going to be talking about vendors and shopping tips at cons. It's going to be a great time. This Friday, Dave Kerr will be on The Outcasts. Don't miss it, because we're going to have Master Shakes, moderately entertaining mixology minutes at 8 p.m. And then after that, we will do The Outcasts, and Dave Kerr will be joining in. Hopefully, we can get some others joined in as well. I will be on Popcorn and Pints Stertovision will be on at midnight, and they will be doing a new movie. I'm not sure what movie they're doing, but go check them out. They will be on the Scene Snobs as well. Saturday night, Popcorn and Pints. You're gonna miss it if you don't check it out. We're doing Star Wars versus Star Trek, Generations versus Empire Strikes Back. Tomorrow, here we're going to be dropping new Snobs film history classic film review, Superman 1978, and
nice.
Then I'm excited, man. And then we're also dropping a new Valentine's Day, Discovering Horror. That's right. We're going to be talking about My Bloody Valentine for all of you horror lovers out there. So go check that out as well. Excited. And also, and then Sunday we will have a brand new episode 7 of Godzilla. Hail to the King, baby. Godzilla film retrospective. I want to say thank you to Paul. Thank you all of you for watching, listening. You guys want to go check out the merch or anything like that, you know where to go. snobsmerch.com. Snobs for 10% off your order. Go check out any of our affiliates down below for help us out. We love you. Go check out our Patreon, but most importantly, go join our Discord. Okay, go join our Discord. It's down in the link tree below in the descriptions. Then you can go check out our Patreon. That's free too to join. You get some extra little tidbits on there, especially if you go up in tiers and stuff like that. It does help us go a long way. Everything that goes towards the Patreon helps produce the shows, and we're trying to make them as good as we can. So thank you guys so much. Until next time, Paul, you want to say anything before we get going?
You guys be safe, and happy Valentine's Day to everyone tomorrow.
I love it. I couldn't have said it better myself. So until next time, remember, be kind to yourselves, be kind to other people, stay classy, take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Bye.